Okay, let's get right into it. When it comes to the Jacob Blake shooting, it's unfortunate that it happened and it went down the way that it did. So new information is emerging or has emerged that there was a knife involved. But if you watch the video, you see it clearly. If there was a knife involved, there was still enough officers to restrain Jacob Blake in a manner other than actually shooting him in the back with his back turned. And reports are saying that he informed the police officers that he had a knife. Now, what he was going to do, what was happening, I don't know. They said he was tased. He said he's a known felon. All those different things are a factor. It sounds like to me that it was fear involved when they shot him. They didn't know what he was going to do. It's been said was were the cops supposed to just wait for him to pull out a knife or pull out a gun? No, you weren't supposed to. You could restrain a person other than shooting them in the back 7 times and paralyzing them, possibly killing them without, all that. You could do a lot. There's a lot of other things that you could do. So it goes back to the point again. Regardless of Mr. Blake's criminal record, here's why the way he was taken out was so reckless. Regardless of what anybody feels, regardless of what anybody think, even myself. There were kids in the car. There were 3 kids in the car. And when that man was shot in the back and paralyzed by that officer, he endangered all 3 of those children, because the first thing that could have happened is one of those bullets could have ricocheted and turned into something else. And we would be having a totally different conversation. When there's children involved, you always try to respect and preserve life as it pertains to the children. Because whether you white, black, gay, straight, religious, non-denominational, atheist, nobody wants children to be involved in a situation, especially with adults, that are going through things and changes, whether there's criminal records or non-criminal records. So that was careless and reckless on the police's part to not even check or see that or be cognizant of that, regardless of what fear you had in your life. And we'll check on in a few seconds. I got to go get my phone and check on what exactly his criminal charges were, because I want to get that out there too. I'm just doing a search of the man's arrest record just to get it out there. There was claims that he had a warrant out for his arrest because of sex with a minor, and that's something that was proven not to be true. On his arrest record by the Wisconsin Circuit Court, it states that Jacob Blake has criminal trespass to a dwelling, a misdemeanor, 3rd-degree sex assault, felony G, modified domestic abuse, which there was a warrant. That was the warrant that they had for his arrest for that. Disorderly conduct, misdemeanor B, and then another domestic violence abuse. So that's out there. And that's unfortunate if that's the case. There was different things going on with the man's life. And I'm not condoning any behavior that's criminal or otherwise. I'm not saying that's something that exonerates him from not cooperating with the police. However, at the same time, that doesn't qualify the police to use a deadly, excessive physical force, especially if there's children involved or anybody else that could have been hurt in the process. And there's nothing that's going to justify how dangerous that situation, or volatile, even, out of hand, more out of hand than it could have gotten. So, thank God he wasn't killed in that situation. Should he have complied with the police officers? Yes. Should he have been tased? That's a question mark. But it all goes back to how we treat each other again as human beings. And it doesn't excuse the fact on both sides anybody's behavior. Because again, what we fail to realize is that there's kids watching this. There's people that are affected by this. There are folks that feel marginalized, that are scared, that are afraid. There are people that are tired of the spin. There are people that are tired of saying, hey, this is the way it has to be, until it's you, until it's somebody from your family, until it's somebody, of another race, or somebody that feels like they shouldn't be subject to this matter that has to deal with that. And there has to be something said with how people are dealt with from poor and low income areas, especially black folks, how we're dealt with by the police, how we're seen in society, and a lot of things within our own community that we need to deal with each other about. These are things that are not going to go away. These are not things that's going to be dealt with in speeches, with elections, platitudes. These are not things that are just going to, go away because of economic stimulus, or maybe when coronavirus goes away, or is cured up, everything is good. No, this takes work. This takes sacrifice. It takes people, being effective, coming together, really caring about each other, and not just the black community, but all the communities, the black community, the white community, Asian community, all communities that are there, to work with each other. This is not just, this is not just a black issue. This is not just a black and white issue. This is a American issue. This is a people issue. This is about equality. Because what if it was you on the other side of that? What if it was you with a criminal record? Somebody who may be possibly just going through a situation that's a routine situation that turns into something that's not only violent, could be violent, but deadly. It's not the way to go. And especially if you were a criminal, or if I was a criminal, I wouldn't want my kids to be involved or be endangered because you're afraid of what I might do to you. This is what this comes down to. It boils down to, what he might have done to a police officer. Now, I don't condone a police officer being shot, but there's going to be a lot of people out there that say because of the police officer choosing to shoot him, and possibly executing him and paralyzing him like that, there's going to be a lot of people who do feel differently if it was the police officer or somebody on the other end of it, especially for those that say, yeah, that's the way it was supposed to be. I don't want to see a man go down, or I don't want to see things happen. But, we have to be different. We have to be better than that. Because if not, things are just going to get worse, because there's some people who don't want to talk. There's some people who don't want to have conversations. There's some people who are tired of marching, who are tired of protesting. There's folks out there who are tired of rioting. You're tired of having the same old tired conversations that we've been having, for it seems like forever. And, what are we going to do when the next time this happens? Because more than likely it'll happen again in some shape, form, or fashion. Will this be the last time? Will this be the last shooting of a person who's unarmed, or somebody who potentially has something? Because the family's attorney of Mr. Jacob Blake says that he didn't have a weapon, and the cops are saying that he had a weapon, but it was under the seat. And it was this person saying that and that person saying that, but on the video it shows a different a different story, a different viewpoint. Who do you believe at this point? And I'll say sometimes it's not even about who do you believe. It's about, okay, the situation is what it is. What happened, we can't change that. But where do we go from here? How do we treat each other moving forward? What do we want the children to see? Is this what we want to leave to the children? Is this the America? Is this the society that we want to leave to the children, where, this is okay? If you feel or you deem somebody to be a threat, you can just, take them out, be it you law enforcement or a person on the street, or is it okay for some people to follow the rules and the laws of other folks not to? Is it okay to justify certain actions without understanding and investigating and seeing the situation through? You tell me.